So just to start off the conversation, this concept of a mask, a man behind the mask. I heard what you said after the convention was cancelled, the man in the mask. How did it come about?
Well, I mean, like I've been telling people, first of all, we had to go back to the ancient times, how the black governance and excellence started. These were the days of the Timbuktus and when we were building universities and building pyramids and all of that. When you go back to that history, you realize that the mask was one of our identities, and even today our art is like a mask of a black person where, the faces were painted and colored with dots and all of that. And, people had to be very vigilant and focused, else you might be killing your own sister or father, But today the mask has come off. We've lost the identity. We're facing identity crisis. Black people are all over the world. You have black American, black British, black Chinese, and all sort of black Jamaicans and everything. So you can't really define who a black person is. And we believe that this movement, the mask, was the right significant symbol, for people to connect and to be able to communicate with us. And as you've already seen, it became a conversation in the country that everybody was looking for the man that was behind the mask until, I unveiled myself to be sitting in front of you today. So
it was a pretty interesting picture because there was even someone who, at a point, came out in a certain way and people felt that person was the man behind the mask. But would you say this concept of using a mask achieved the ends, the results you would have wanted?
I don't think the mask was just about achieving something. It was more so about creating an awareness and sustaining the people and keeping them in a suspense. So, we can sort of control the humans within a reasonable doubt, and still be able to feed them with what they're trying to hear and what they're trying to see. So, if I'm to say that if I was doing a movie, definitely it would have been a box office hit because I would have gotten everybody to look, at least, to watch. So, for me, I think symbolically it's a good move. And,
right.
and there are yet even some more people that might be on the way to be unveiled again.
Oh, some more people may be en route to getting up.
Well, as you can see, 6 people behind. So, maybe you have the new 6 coming. So there's more coming. The story.
Are you referring to the new Big Six, maybe?
Well, there's something like that because, yes, of course, we need to find at least some great minds within our society, from the young and the old, and bring them together. And, I believe that in those days of our governance, it was the best times when great minds came together. So, yeah, there's more coming. It's like a movie, right? It's like a series. And,
almost, Gullywood, Hollywood.
Absolutely.
Kind of. But I'd like to find out, even before we get into the issue of Shalima, who now has been deported unceremoniously, what is the new force? If I asked you, new force, what is it? What would you say?
The new force is a force. We are not a third force. We are a new force. We are a new force, so first of its kind.
Where force means what exactly?
Force or the new?
Well, the new, I think it's a combination of the self-explanatory, so but
yes, the new. The force is more like a universal force. You're talking of the strength of the sun, the wind, the people, the human beings, the animals, the stories, the media, the government, the president, everything together is the force. You need to stand up to it. If you want to know about it, we are the new and we are the force. And of course, we play a good role in society. We are from society. We're not from the jungle. We are from the world. And so, yes, we are force. And if the world is not ready for us, then we welcome ourselves to be a part of the world.
Okay. At a point, I'll take you into the jungle. But for now, let's stay
Sure.
in the studio. The new force, what are you? Are you a movement? Are you a political party? And I'm sure you can understand why I'm going here. Because when the convention was cancelled, you spoke about this gathering, entrepreneurs that you had wanted to come and speak to the African youth. So my question to you, what is New Force? Is it a movement? Is it a political party?
The New Force is a movement. We are not politicians. I am not a politician. I'm a leader. And my team with me, we're leaders. We are leading the lockdown generation into a new world. You see, in the past 4 years, we have been in a complete different world. We spent 2 years of our life behind closed doors. Okay, we spend the other 2 years of our lives trying to find out where we're going in this world. Okay, so I believe that I have my own sort of audience, my own sort of people, you know, the millennials, and even some of the old people who have experienced the new world and looking for a change. They're sitting in Ghana, but they're seeing countries like Russia and Ukraine and Gaza and this and that. You know, there are all troubles and problems all over the world, all over the world. Yet we have serious crisis with our economy here, and they're thinking, how is this going to be resolved and all of that. So this movement is here to make that change. And we can make this change either through the government or the private sector. We already have great experience.
Where are you headed towards? Because at least from what you shared with in that conference with Peter Obi, with PLO Lumumba, I didn't see Julius Malema there, but I saw Dr. Arikana. Did Julius eventually come?
No, he
didn't make it.
No, they wouldn't give him a permit in one of the places that he was supposed to land. You know, he needed a landing permit to.
Was he transiting?
Yes, no, he was coming on a private transport, but he couldn't fly 6 hours, over 6 hours, so he had to land somewhere and refuel, but they wouldn't give it to him there. And I think it's all political reasons. Okay. So he said that I'm giving him a full feed. You know, so at the point of the convention, he was going to be live speaking to the people.
I see. So speaking of which, New Force is a movement.
It is.
And you could either go the way of the private sector or business or through leadership. That's what you said, right?
Yes, either way, we will be able to contribute to society. It's just that the limitations of just using the private sector does not nationally become an attributable contribution that becomes visible, okay? But if we have the government and we merge the private sector, then the private sector would not now become contractors based on whatever party that comes to power and my people that I'm going to give contracts to or this or that. You know, it becomes the vision of building a country, the vision of building a nation. And that's the movement, that's the force behind the movement, you know, and that's what we call the change.
Okay, I'm getting some interesting messages coming here, but let's focus on the conversation. Later, I'll take a look at some of them. You do know that historically, any attempt at a unified government, UNIGOV, you remember, even during the Achampon regime, that was what brought Achampon to power, hasn't worked. So I ask, are you leaning more towards government rather than this private push? I mean, that is there. And some young people have said, yes, your ideas resonate with them, but are you moving more towards governance of our country?
Absolutely. I'm already in the private sector. And if I didn't think the government would be a good partnership and a good combination, you know, I wouldn't be going towards that side. You know, I wouldn't be running for president. It's because I've realized that, you know, the power that the national governance can add to the experience that we have acquired from the private sector together can really make a change. It can open the doors. It can create power. And we need energy. You know, we need more energy in this country to be able to industrialize the country. And without the industrialization, we won't be able to create the jobs. And without creating the jobs, we won't be able to create an economic balance. And without having an economic balance, we don't have a country. Okay, so it's steps of different things that has to be done. But like I'm saying, I've been in the private sector, you know, I've managed to build some landmarks and some skyscrapers. The question is, Ben, if I build 10 more skyscrapers, are you going to be surprised? Because you already know I'm capable of, okay? Even if I buy a plane, you might think, oh, this young man is successful, he can buy a plane. But that's not my interest anymore. My interest is that I can't just keep doing what I've already done.
Right.
I need to do something bigger. I need to do something better with my time. And that's why I decided to branch. You know, so people are asking me questions. Oh, you are a hotelier. You're a fashionista. You're this. You're a celebrity. No. Those were things that were happening to me, you know, along the way of my journey. But at this very point, I've realized that the trials and tribulations of this journey was also preparations for me to be heading towards leadership. And this leadership at this very point, I feel like is needed in my country, and not only in my country, but it's also needed for Africa and the society, the black society.
Right.